Hustle and grind will only get you so far before you burn out, surrender to overwhelm, and your audience will be like, hey, whatever happened to so-and-so entrepreneur that I liked so much? I learned this the hard way, so I want to tell you exactly why you should stop working so hard and what you should do instead. What I'm going to teach you today may be contrary to what you're used to hearing. The American dream of financial independence is alive and it's doing well, and whatever that dream might mean for you, you can have it if you simply take the time to learn how to get it. Now, the first step in that process, though, is we need to stop working so hard. Growing up, what were we all told about working hard? If you work hard, you get a good education, you work hard, everything will be fine. Well, how many of you were told all your life, you have to work hard to get what you want, and what happened? We got a good education, we worked hard. How many of you guys are hard workers? Let me know in the comments. How many of you are hard workers and have all the wealth that you dreamed of and everything you've ever desired? What we've got to learn to do today is to work smart. And I know you've heard that before, but in today's context, working smart means getting involved in something that will give us income, something that will create reliable, recurring, predictable revenue for yourself. How many of you guys would like something like that? Well, what I do is teach people how to work smarter and not harder through having content that consistently turns into cash flow. And I have some strategies and systems that require less effort and create reliable returns on investment, whether that's an investment of your time, effort, energy, or money, because we're not trying to launch to an audience of crickets, right? We want to make an impact on real people and make real profit that moves the needle. So to do that, first I want to speak to the kind of entrepreneur, the kind of leader that you need to be to make that impact. And then I'll go into some of these content machine strategies. The first mindset shift I want to solidify for you today is that you need to work less to make more. If someone had told me years ago that I had to work less in order to grow my business, I would just straight up think that that's insane and could not be possible. I grew up with the belief system that nothing worth having comes easy. You have to work hard to get what you want. So I operated my business with this belief and thought if I wanted to make more money, I just had to work harder and put in more hours, show up earlier, stay later. I can do hard things. Just for a moment, let's define what that means to work harder. Does that mean that it has to be painful or backbreaking? Are we implying that the work we do can't possibly be enjoyable? That's where entrepreneurship for me began to expose my limiting beliefs, because the harder I worked still kept me the bottleneck, and it didn't translate into more money, maybe just exhaustion and poor decisions. And I get it. When you start your business, you are the CEO, chief everything officer. You're Sally in customer service and you're Tom in IT. How many of you guys feel like this in your business right now? Let me know in the comments. But then at some point, the focus shifts from grow to scale. But what got you here won't get you there. What got you here will kill you. If I continued operating like that, I may have burnt out and gave up before ever scaling past 6 figures. I never would have been able to reach the multiple 7 figures that we have today. And I say we very strongly because I know that I can't do this alone, which is now why my focus has shifted from tactical management to transformational leadership. That is what can make us better bosses and better examples for our teams when we shift from doer to delegator, from manager to leader. And the only way for you to scale is to grow a team. That's where the identity shifts from doer to delegator, which can be hard for entrepreneurs who like to have control, which is every single one of us. That's why we started this business, right? So we go from doer to delegator, and that identity shift requires overcoming some limiting beliefs. I know one for me was, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself, which is extremely limiting to A, miss out on the opportunity and the learning experience of creative collaboration with a team member. And B, you also miss out on the opportunity for your own personal development and growth in becoming a leader and also exploring your other skills when you have your time back. And C, you only have so many hours in a day, so your business just will not scale if you insist on remaining the bottleneck and doing everything yourself. Now, I want to really prepare you for how your identity is going to shift in your business. But first, have you subscribed to this channel yet? I want to give you the latest strategies for video marketing and business growth. And the easiest way to stay in the know is to hit subscribe on this channel. So hit that button below before we move on. Warning: as your identity shifts based on the role you play in your own business, you may feel insecure. You may question your value if anyone needs you. And maybe hearing that might sound silly, like, no way, it would be a dream to have a business that runs itself and makes money without me. But because we built this thing, it's our baby. Then we unintentionally can become a bottleneck again, trying to insert ourselves into places that aren't necessary, trying to be useful and find things to do. And this is where the most valuable thing we can do as a leader is sit and think and dream and learn and vision, which on the outside doesn't look very productive. If you, like me, had the belief that you have to work hard to get what you want and defined work by things that were challenging or difficult, sitting, thinking, dreaming, learning, visioning might not seem very important or valuable. That is your job, to set the vision, to create the mental image of the future direction that you're going and bring that back to the team to inspire them. One of the things that's really important for me in my business in leading them towards the future direction we want to go is we have these culture meetings, which is basically where I share my stories, my origin story, and bring them along what's brought me here and share the next stories of what I see happening for us. So let me ask you, would you be interested in telling your audience, your team, your personal story if it promised cash flow opportunities and those sales notifications, and not to mention change lives? Well, I want to show you how you can identify what those stories are in your life that can impact the masses, impact your team, and bring them along that journey towards the future-based cause that you guys are heading towards. The truth is we all have stories, and you have an origin story that is compelling and worth telling, even if you're in the middle of living out that story. But I also want to help you to make sure that you are sharing that vision and that story the right way, because the truth is there are some stories that aren't stories at all. Have you ever had a conversation with someone that you're listening to and you're like, land the plane, get to the point, what are they talking about? But then other stories, you've been on the edge of your seat. Like if I asked you right now, what was the last best movie that you watched or your favorite show? People get passionate about that. They're like, oh my gosh, I just watched Stranger Things. It was so good. I actually really love the show Stranger Things. I will tell anyone willing to listen how much I love that show. Hollywood is a classic example. Hollywood is pitching stories and screenplays all the time to be made into movies. And some of them that are made really change the world and make a lasting impact on people and bring in a ton of money to the box office and into merchandise and so much more. And some of them very much don't. They're very much the opposite. Like, how many of you guys have seen the movie The Room, made by Tommy Wiseau? This movie is considered to be the worst movie ever by many people. But the creator was absolutely adamant about making it. And now we probably could have gone without this one. My point is, Hollywood is all about stories. And some of them, unfortunately, suck. Have you ever seen a movie and thought like, well, that's an hour of my life I'll never get back? Well, the truth is, to inspire your audience, to inspire your team to take that journey with you and move towards the future-based outcome that you're working towards, you need to be a good storyteller. And I don't think many content creators or entrepreneurs take storytelling seriously enough. How do we make it so that the people around us can't wait to hear what we have to say, that our content is like in demand? Like I'm telling you, when Stranger Things season 4 comes out, I'm gonna book the entire weekend off. I'm gonna binge watch it. I'm not gonna leave my living room. I'm gonna host a party. Your stories hold the basis of your content and your vision. So you need to learn how to find the ones that are gonna inspire people, change their lives, and also monetize your business, to know how they tie into the message of your business before you move any further with inspiring your team or creating the content that's going to reach your audience. So once you define these stories and step into that role as the CEO, as the leader, not the chief everything officer, but the executive officer that is inspiring the team and creating the vision for the future-paced movement that you're following, that is how you're going to be able to work less and make more. And if you're interested in working less and being able to effortlessly ascend your leads, your audience, into high ticket sales, I want to invite you to my next free private training. I'm going to give you my highest revenue generating, my highest performing campaigns that you can actually plug and play them into a 7-figure business. So click link below to join my Hello to High Ticket training. So I want to tell you exactly why working hard isn't the answer. And what is the title? What I'm going to teach you today, I feel like I spat. Apparently working hard doesn't work. And I have some strategies and systems that require less effort, but create, excuse me. And it may be, but the executive officer, the truth is we all have stories. If you've heard my origin story,